Red Oak. Today we're going to work on our 3rd grade black belt and recorder, which is called Ding Dong Merrily on High. And if you are on our Facebook page, I have posted this piece as well as a recorder fingering chart to help you figure out our new notes that we're going to learn today. So now would be a great time to go and print those off. So from the beginning, we have our treble clef and we have our time signature. Our time signature tells us how many beats are in a measure, and that is 4. So we're going to go through our rhythm here. And we're going to go through the rhythm of the first and second lines, and then we'll go back through and fill in the notes. So our first note is a ta, or a quarter note. We have ta, we have it again, ta. Then our next notes that are connected that kind of look like a quarter note, but these have a beam on the bottom. These are called eighth notes, okay? And our eighth notes get 2 eighth notes for 1 beat. So right now we have 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat, and 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. Okay, so to read that through, we have ta, ta, ti, 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 ti. And our next note is something that we might not have seen before, or we've seen part of it. So this note has an unfilled circle with a stem, and it has a dot beside it. So if you take away the dot, which I'm not doing too well of a job, if you take away the dot, that is a regular, what's called half note. A regular half note gets 2 counts, but when you add a dot to it, it adds time. So the way you figure out what time it's added, you take the original note and you half it. So 2 divided in half is 1, okay? And so you take the original note, which is 2, you add the divided part, 1, and you add that together. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So this note all together is, you hold it for 3 counts, okay? So from the beginning till there, we have ta, ta, ti, 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 2. So 3 counts, then we take a little breath. Then we have more tas. Ta, 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 2, 2. And those are our regular half notes without a dot. Okay, so now that we've got our first line, let's move to the second. And this is pretty similar, but watch out for the end. That's where it gets a little different. Okay? Ta, ta, ti, 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 2. Breathe. Ta, 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 2, ta, rest. Our last measure is different from the one right above it. We have a half note, 2 counts, quarter note, or a ta, 1 count, and a 1 count rest, which is called a quarter rest. Okay, so now that we've got our rhythm in place, let's figure out our notes. So our first note is actually something that we don't know, but if you pull out that fingering chart, it'll tell you. So our first note's actually on the 3rd line of the treble clef, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to call that C. Okay, so if you have a pencil, you can write that in for your sake and for if you have a parent learning with you. So we have C, and to play C, it's a little tricky. So I need everyone to grab their recorders, left hand on top, right hand on bottom, and I want you to go to A. So A is a note that we've kind of learned from the beginning. To play A, you need your thumb, you need 1, and you need 2. If I only had 1, that would be a note that's called B, okay? To add another one would be A, and one more would be G. Okay, but we only need A for right now. And the reason we're doing this is because it's the easiest way I have found to learn C, and so I hope it helps you. If you need more help after this, you can email me with questions. So we have A, and to get to C, all you need to do is lift your first finger. Okay, this note is higher than C, but we've actually gone upwards by 2 steps. Okay, so we have A, and then if you lift your first finger, you are at C. So here's A, and if I lift my first finger, here's C. Okay, so it's higher, and we've got C's from the very beginning. So if you look, we have C, C, and our next note is 1 step higher than C. We know it's 1 step because it goes from a space to a line. Okay, if we think of our alphabet, think of your alphabet, what is one letter that comes right after C? What is the letter that comes right after C? We have A, B, C. Hey, look at that, it's D. And to play D, go back to A, Lift your first finger for C. And for D, you're going to need both hands on the recorder. I need you to play D, I need you to take your left thumb off of the back. Okay? For D, you do not need your thumb on that back circle. So when you play it, make sure you have a balanced hold on there, and you can take your thumb off easily. Okay? What I sometimes do is I take my left thumb off and put it down below so it's not covering the circle, but it is close. Okay? So here's A. Lift your first finger for C. And one step higher, take your thumb off for D. Okay? So, again, here's a review of C. All you need is your second finger, and you need your thumb covering those circles. It's on the third space. And for D, all you need is your second finger, no thumb, and it's on the fourth line. Okay? Remember, we count 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so if you've got your paper handy, you can fill in most of the notes at this point. And remember the notes that we've already learned that are going to be a review. So if you look in your piece of music, we have C, C, lift up for D, C. And then these three notes are notes that we've learned from the very beginning. This first note is on the third line of the treble clef staff, and that is B. For B, you need your thumb and your first finger, so write that in. Then, right after B, we go down one step from B to A, which is on the second space. For A, you need your thumb, 1 and 2, which is we've already gone over that today. And then our last note is, we have B, A, and it's on the second line, that is G. And here's a review if you need G. Thumb, 1, 2, and 3 on the second line. Sorry, that's a little messy. Okay, so then we're going to keep going. The same note happens in that second measure. So we have G for 3 counts, and then we have G to finish it off. We go up 1, which would be A, and here we see our jump, okay? So we have A, and we go all the way up to the third line. I'm so sorry. Third space. Third space would be C, C. Go down 1, okay? If you go backwards in the alphabet from C, one letter, you have C, B, Go back up, and you have C on the third space, and then you end on G on the second line. Okay, so I'm going to play through the first line. When you are learning this by yourself, make sure to take it nice and slow. Make sure you're writing all your notes in and using that fingering chart that I put on there for you, okay? Before I play it, I'll say the note names and then we will go from there. C, C, D, C, B, A, G, G, A, C, C, B, C, G. Okay? Now, remember, this is going to be harder than the rest of the belts we've learned because this is our last belt of 3rd grade. Okay? So if you need to take more time to practice, take more time. I'm going to play through the first line. I start on C. Both hands are on. Watch my fingers if you need help. I'm going to play through that again. Remember, sometimes we all mess up, right? When you go from C to B, if you see in that 3rd measure, you're going to have to flip from your 2nd finger to your 1st finger. So make sure you practice that too, okay? Here's the first line again. Ready? And I promise once you get better, We're going to keep more of a steady tempo to make sure those eighth notes sound different than those quarter notes, okay? Here's the first line last time. Start on C. Ready? And remember to only take breaths when you need it. Okay? Now, if you look at the second line, it's pretty similar, right? So we start on C, which is our note in the third space. We have C, C, D, C, B, A, G, up until that breath mark, right? And then we have about the same thing. G, A, C, C, B, and I'm on the last measure. This is where it changes. We have C, because it's on the third space, right? If I said third line before, I apologize. The note on our third line should be B, okay? And we end on C with our rest. So if we read through this, third space starts C, C, D, C, B, A, G, G, A, C, C, B, C, C, rest. Okay? Now, to review, you've learned 2 new notes today. Remember, C is on the third space, 1, 2, 3. You have your second finger or circle covered, as well as your thumb. And for D, which is right above C, it's on the fourth line, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the fourth line, and all you need is your second finger. Make sure you're holding your recorder well enough to balance while you play this note, okay? So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play through both lines for you, and then you will be on your way, okay? Remember, we start C, both hands are on the recorder. Mine's a little lower so you can see. And then we will get going. Here we go. Ready. All right. Again, if I missed anything, please let me know. Here is a copy of what I have done. I have filled in all my notes. Lively, if you look at Did You Notice, lively means to play it kind of at a quicker pace. So when you are ready, you may take it at that pace. And our little F means forte, which means you play it with nice, strong air. Okay? I hope you had a good time in recorder time, and I hope to hear those black belts soon. Bye, guys.